This week, we're helping a homeowner freshen up the look of her vintage 1980s brick home.
We are the only house in the neighborhood with canvas striped awnings.
I've been helping homeowners improve their home for a lot of years. They think it's intimidating, but it actually can be a lot of fun.
And we're here to help. Dad's the expert, but I've learned a few things along the way.
Practical, realistic home improvement information is what today's homeowner is all about. This home from the late 80s belongs to Kim Hetzman and her 3 children.
I bought the house 5 years ago with my children, Matthew, Logan, and Kaylee. Matthew is a freshman in college, Logan, who's a sophomore, and then Kaylee is in 7th grade. We, as a family, love to cook out and we play cornhole. We're just not formal people, so we just like to have fun and be at home with our family and friends, and that's how I want my house to feel. The house is 30 years old. Everything in the inside was also 30 years old and outdated. So we have worked kind of room by room and renovated it and made it our own. So now we're looking forward to working on the outside.
Now, Kim, we talked on the phone about some improvements on the outside of the house, but as soon as I drove up, it's looking pretty good.
It looks great.
Well, we just want to make it our own, and right now it looks a little outdated. We want it to feel homey, but still up to date and not a blast from the past. When I bought the house, there were azaleas almost to the roof.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Right, and
Oh, wow.
they were so big and kind of unkept, so that was the first thing, to remove that and let the grass grow a little. But I would like to maybe paint the brick or just
Paint
a
the
light.
brick. You sure about painting the brick?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
no
you can't go
painting
back.
it, yeah, you can't
Right.
go back.
You know, it's kind of the trend now, I guess. But I still want to make it my own, so I really like the more whitewash look where you can still see some of the original bricks through the paint to make it different and more modern.
I got you.
Take off the awnings.
Okay, I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, those are probably my least favorite. When we first moved here, my children, when they would tell people where we lived, they would say, look at the house that looks like the hot dog stand. We are the only house in the neighborhood with canvas striped awnings.
Now we know what's on the menu for lunch today.
Man, I love a good hot dog.
Oh, amen.
They make it stand out, but probably not in a good way.
Yeah. What about shutters? Do you like shutters?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Maybe a distressed look.
And then landscaping, I know you wanted the grass up there, but maybe some low plants that don't
Right.
grow 8 feet tall.
Yes. So I want to do landscaping, but I'm terrible at choosing. I definitely would be seeking help for that part.
And it's also helpful to have someone from a local nursery
Correct.
come out and be able
Right.
to say, you know, this works well in this
Yeah.
environment. Then it's kind of foolproof. You don't have to go up guessing.
Right, yes.
You got some ideas
I
brewing?
always have ideas going.
And I bet part of those ideas has something to do with that front door.
Yeah, that's orange.
With a gold kick plate. I would love to see that go.
Okay.
So when it's time to start work, we begin clearing off the porch before we tackle the awnings from the hot dog stand.
Dad, I thought these awnings were going to be a lot harder to remove. They're just 8 screws per window, right?
That's all we needed, yeah.
No, don't cry. It's going to be okay.
There will be no tears, don't worry.
Your mom said you were good with the pressure washer. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so I was thinking we would get these cleaned up because we'll reuse them. And then when you're done with that, you can start pressure washing the house. Just like when you're painting anything, you need a clean surface so that your paint can stick. Well, we're doing the same thing on the outside of this house for our Limewash. I'm cutting all of the pieces I need so that I can lay out one shutter to get Kim's approval before we bring these shutters into mass production. All right, Kim, you mentioned rustic, so I ran with it for the shutter design. So we have cedar wood, which is like great for outdoor use. We chose cedar because not only is it weather resistant and insect resistant, but once you put a clear coat of sealer on top, it looks great. 1x6s, so 3 of them across, and then that same width with the 1x4s, one at the top and one at the bottom. But I thought we would jazz it up a little bit with a diagonal 1x4.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I like it.
Do you love it?
I do. I like
Okay.
it.
Okay, so I've already got the measurements figured out, so now we just need to chop, chop, chop.
Okay.
And then we'll figure out a way to assemble them real quick.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to paint this door, and I'm going to be using a sprayer. A sprayer is definitely the way to go when you're painting a panel door like this, because it would just take way too long to use a brush and a roller. But I want to be able to paint both sides without waiting for the first side to dry. And here's how I'm going to do that. By putting screw hooks in the top of the door, one on each side, and a rope loop hanging from the joist, I can just hook them on there, and there you go. The door just hangs completely suspended. How cool is that? So now, when I go to paint, I can very easily paint the first side, spray paint the entire first side, then come around immediately, and paint the back side. And within just a few minutes, I have the whole door painted, and we just have to wait for it to dry.
Simple Solutions is brought to you by Typebond, the pro's advantage.
Coming up,
It was very easy, much easier than I thought it would have been.
I love it.
we're helping Kim update the outside of her 35-year-old home. So she and Chelsea are building some new shutters that look old.
Since we have quite a few shutters to make that are the exact same size, I created a jig using a couple of stop blocks so I can slide the shutter components into place and I don't have to measure for every single piece. The diagonal piece on the front of our shutters has an odd angle, so I'm using a bevel gauge to help find that angle. Okay, so we're gonna build them upside down.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've ever seen cedar before, but it has two different sides. So smooth and rough, you see the difference?
Right.
So we'll do smooth side down so that the smooth side is facing out when we're done.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, so the whole point of this is so that we don't have the fasteners on the front.
Okay.
Attaching screws from behind works great, but you have to make sure that the screws aren't too long, otherwise you're gonna mess up your entire project. Does it look like a shutter?
It does. It looks great.
If your house is built on a concrete slab and you look at the corner of it and you see a few cracks, that can be a little unsettling. Well, the good news is rarely is it a settling problem. It's just a little expansion and contraction. Some people call it a shear crack, others call it a concrete corner pop. Either way, if it's a real minor crack, which usually it is, you could just use a caulk to fill up those lines there. But if it's a little deeper like I have here, then you need to use a quick concrete repair. Mix it according to the directions. After that, it's basically just applying the concrete, just working it a little bit. You might have to put more than one coat on. And what we're gonna do is go ahead and fill up this crack completely, give it some time to dry before we bring our lime washing around on this side. But once we do that, probably won't even be able to see it.
Kim hates her orangey red front door, so we're gonna go with her farmhouse motif that we have going on and try out some different color blues.
I like the little darker, not so light.
Yeah. I went light because it's always in the shadows.
I want something that was a little pop of color, but not so overwhelming either. So I'm leaning towards the one on the bottom right.
I do like that one. I think that one's my favorite too.
I think that will look good.
Okay.
With the
I think
brick
that will look
and-
good.
Yeah.
Once they remove the door, Kim starts prepping it for paint.
Kind of exciting to know that the red was going away, the brass kick plate was going away.
What's this here? What do you got going?
Well, you know, you and I both like jigs.
This kind of jig?
Yep.
Not really.
Also a carpenter jig.
Carpenter jig.
That way we don't have to measure
Yeah.
every shutter, and you line them up and then, you know, put the smooth side down.
Okay, so you're doing it so where you're not seeing any screws on them. Perfect.
Right, yeah, installing
Awesome.
it all from behind. So I got you set up because I'm so excited to go paint the house.
I would much rather it be you than me. I
Okay,
got
well, I'm
this.
gonna go get started,
I
so
got it.
prepare to be awed. We're going to use a regular paint sprayer to apply the Limewash, but unlike regular paint, we actually need to wet the bricks first. So you're gonna be in charge of the shield.
Okay.
So if you wanna like slide it up into the freeze board there. Okay, and then rotate it up. There you go. Okay, and then I'll spray, and then
Okay.
we'll spray this section and then move your shield down.
Okay.
Okay, you ready? Are you nervous? No?
I'm excited.
You're excited? Okay, good. All right, what are you thinking so far?
I love it.
I'm nervous. You're not nervous?
No, not
I've
at all.
never painted a house before.
I've never had painted a house either.
I'm just kidding, I have. I was trying to make you nervous.
I'm not kidding. I've never painted a house.
This is a very DIY-friendly project. We're using a paint sprayer, but it can also be applied with a masonry brush.
I love it.
Maybe 15 minutes from now, you'll be able to go back and remove some of it from some of the bricks like you wanted.
Oh, good, yeah.
So we're good to
Great.
carry on?
Yes, let's
Okay.
go. It sort of has a whitewash look even before you expose any of the bricks. It was very easy, much easier than I thought it would have been.
I love it.
So as we were choosing which bricks to expose, I was looking for different location and maybe the coloration of the brick to see through the lime wash. And that's a dark brick, you know? You think maybe one on one of those? I can actually do like two. Probably made that process a little harder than I should have. But as the first section is complete, it is perfect.
You know, when I decided to do these shutters, I thought I was getting out of painting, but this varnishing sure is a lot like painting.
Remember, long and even strokes, Dad.
Expandable foam sealants have been around for quite a while, and Great Stuff has been around to seal up our doors and windows to prevent drafts. Well, now they've got another product, and this is it right here. This is called Pest Block, and it is specifically designed to block those pests from coming into your home. This is perfect around doors and windows where you've got cracks or gaps up to 1 inch thick. And it's wonderful because there's no pesticide in it, so it doesn't harm bees, which I love. Now, it does have a smart dispenser, so all you gotta do is just twist it on and you are ready to go. And you have great control because of the tapered applicator right here. So if you wanna keep the pests on the outside and keep your house free of insects, Pest Block has got you covered.
This Best New Product segment is brought to you by the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
After the break, not the reaction we wanted.
I kind of felt this cringe inside.
Kim's Curb Appeal update is going great, and now it's time to tackle the landscaping. So Chelsea has invited over a local nursery owner to help devise a plan.
All right, Blair, Kim's one request is low maintenance. Is that something we can handle?
Yes,
And
with,
still have lots of stuff going on?
yes, with this style of house, you can definitely do some really good, easy, low maintenance landscaping.
And I like her lights that she has up in the soffits. So
Yes.
maybe something tall that those lights can like accentuate.
So I would just bring in with the Japanese yew, that would give you some good height. And bring in one here onto this corner. So definitely with your accent light, it would shine down and give you a good accent. That would give you a really pretty green.
Okay.
And it would pop against the house, but it would still give you some height. If you want something that flowers, I would either do an encore azalea or more of a drift rose.
When Blair started talking about azaleas, I kind of felt this cringe inside because of the azaleas that were at the house when I bought it. They were huge to the roof.
The great thing about an encore azalea is you can use it as a foundation plant, so it can be your main shrub. And they stay 2 to 2.5 foot tall. So at max maturity, they might only be 2.5 foot, and you're not having to constantly trim and cut. But it's also going to bloom at least 3 times a year.
I love it.
So you think you have everything you need to kind of help us pick out some plants back at your shop?
I think we've definitely got a great plan and design that we can work with.
Now that we have our scope of what kind of plants we need figured out, I'm gonna head to Blair's shop so she can help me pick out just the right ones.
That one's nice and full. So the sunburst is a good variety, and it's going to give you some good color, so it's going to have some of your pink and peaches in with it. The nice thing about it is the outline in white, so it still gives you that
that's
little
cool.
pop of white.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna need a bigger cart.
I think we are.
I assume you approve of my shutters that I built?
Yeah, they look awesome. But
Good.
you want to finish the project well, don't you?
How's that?
Hang them.
What I'll get you to do is hold it
Okay.
right there. I need to get some water. I'll be right back. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're just gonna leave me hanging out here?
Okay, let's drop it just a little bit. Okay. Go ahead and set it back down.
Okay.
See, I've got this bit that's got the pilot bit as well as the countersink. So you see that drills the pilot hole so that the screw doesn't split it.
Okay.
Then that next bit will countersink it. All right. So this is actually the masonry bit that'll go into the wall. There. Come on.
Want me to do it?
Yeah.
I'm scared to do it.
Look. I know if I gave her the opportunity to use a drill, she would jump on it. I don't know if she knew what she was jumping on.
Oh, the hammer drill is a different kind of drill.
He made it look easy, and then as I'm doing it, I'm like, this is taking me forever. Am I not doing this right?
Okay, so let's see. There's 4 per.
This will take me like 2 hours. So you did that way faster than me.
I was just showing off.
It was amazing how quickly everything just came together on the front. I love it.
That is a clever trick that you taught me many moons ago about using the sawdust from cedar to make wood putty.
Boy, we've done that a lot because we used to save all of the cedar shavings and sawdust because it smells so good. But mix it with a little glue. Yeah, got the perfect putty.
Can't buy it in stores.
Just as we're wrapping up the chores on the house, Blair arrives with the plants to transform the yard.
We got some pretty azaleas.
Usually I carry 3 at a time, but that's okay.
Did you?
You. Such a fun word to say.
It is.
Loop around.
I can't get over that you want to volunteer for painting when it looks like vandalism.
Well, my plan was just to stretch that painting of the lines out enough that I could avoid touching the shovel. You know, I just planted a lot of plants in my yard, and let me tell you something that makes it a little easier here.
Well, you did avoid the shovel because you brought an auger, a power shovel.
That's right. And it sped up the process.
It sure did.
It kept me away from that shovel, didn't it?
For a 30-plus-year-old house, Kim's home was in pretty good condition, but it just didn't fit her personality. It was simply dated and dull. There was nothing to draw your attention except maybe the hot dog stand awnings, and the landscaping was equally bland. But now, the house is lighter, brighter, and full of character thanks to the Limewash we applied to the bricks. Kim wanted casual, and the distress treatment on the bricks delivers that with ease. Plus, the rustic cedar shutters add a warmth to the whole house that makes it the comfortable, inviting place she wanted. Not to mention the absence of the striped awnings and the ugly red door. The new landscaping adds yet another dimension, giving the house depth and color that only enhances the whole picture. And we were able to do it all for only about $1,100 for materials and plants.
It looks amazing. It looks exactly how I want it to look now. So now when people come to visit, I don't have to say, look for the house that looks like the hot dog stand. I can say, look for the most beautiful house on the street.
You know, I just love a great before and after, especially when you're working with a very appreciative and enthusiastic homeowner like Kim. Now, the biggest difference we made on the outside of this house is the lime washing. And when you drive down this neighborhood, you see all these brick houses. This one really stands out in a good way. Hey, I'm Danny Lipford. Thanks so much for being with me and Chelsea here on Today's Homeowner. We'll see you next week.
Oops. I messed it up. Bye.